Hey guys, Zach here. I know it's called football back, and the USA are through to the round of 16, beating Iran 1-0. The game just ended. Man, it was super, super nervy. I was pretty confident going into the game. I knew that there were probably going to be some changes. I had called for Sargent to come back into the lineup because he's super versatile. I think. Obviously, he hasn't scored a goal yet. He doesn't have an assist, but he is a hard worker. Very, very quick. I think his link up play is exceptional. He's learned a lot being in England now. I think 3 years, maybe 2 years now. Had a year in the Premier League now, back in the Championship with Norwich, but really one of my favorite players in terms of his work rate and the effort that he gives. You know what you get from Josh Sargent, so I was glad to see him on the team sheet. I was pretty surprised to see Carter Vickers coming in. No MLS players starting in this 11 for the USA against Iran. And it paid off. The changes paid off. This man right here, number 6, Yunus Musa, was an absolute monster, as he always has been, all 3 games. That midfield has been fantastic. Musa, Weston McKennie, and Tyler Adams again today. Just phenomenal. The way he can break the play up and read the game. This is a guy who is the youngest captain in the World Cup. And again, the way he can read the game, it's like he's a seasoned veteran, like Thiago Silva almost. He's got that kind of a football brain. And I can't count how many times I saw him cover on the left when Anthony Robinson got forward, or when I saw him cover on the right when Dest was forward. It happened all game. That's the way we played. 2 attacking fullbacks, and Adams was, literally covering the entire pitch. And if you see him get beat, first of all, I want to say I don't think I've ever seen a team get nutmegged so many times as the United States got nutmegged. So I don't know clearly the Iranian team is very, very talented. Lots of players on there, a lot of veterans on there, on that team. One of the oldest teams at the World Cup. So, you take that old and young scale and take with it what you would like. But clearly the United States were the hungrier team. You knew that Iran was going to sort of be very keen on defending. But that's why it was so important to get that goal, at least in the first half. And you can sort of, make what you want with the rest of the game, the way you want to set up your team. Obviously, a couple defensive changes, bringing in Walker Zimmerman, who I don't know how many headers he won, but, there was like 2 headers in a row, almost a third. Just the ball kick coming back in, and I was thinking of Rob Holding for Arsenal. Just send him on, latch up the door, and that's his job, and that's what he was asked to do, and he did it. He didn't make a single mistake. Even a time where Turner was coming out for the ball, and Zimmerman just got there first and had the ball away. I thought that Shaq Moore was a little bit nervy when he came on, and Iran. The begging, it was really, really just the most unsportsmanlike last 15 minutes or so I've seen. Just begging for a penalty, diving, going down. I thought when that last ball went in, and I thought the final whistle, I thought the whistle from the ref was going to be to give that Iranian player a booking, a yellow card for simulation, because that would have been a third in a row. The dive, Carter Vickers had a pinky on the player's shoulder, and he goes down. And again, if that's the United States doing that, I would be fuming that you have a chance, the ball's in the box, rather than try to do something acrobatic or try to make what you can with that opportunity. You just dive, and it was soulless, and it makes this victory even sweeter. Yeah, the United States deserved to go through. They were the better team, I think, because the football they played was better. They were a much more cohesive side, I think, and they did what needed to be done. A little bit lucky, I thought. Couple opportunities, at least 3 solid opportunities to get a second goal. Haji right at the end almost, had me screaming. He comes through. You don't have to shoot there, and not only does he just scuff the ball, and Iran were back on the attack. Just take it to the corner. Do whatever you want. He has this huge frame, this massive frame, Haji Wright. He held the ball up just 4 or 5 minutes before that and should have just taken it to the corner, let Brendan Aronson come in and either help him, let him get the ball off of you or do something. But shooting there was such a bad decision, and luckily, it didn't come back to bite us in the ass. And you need a little bit of luck to win games like this, especially a game in the World Cup against a side that's as hungry as Iran. Never made it through to the round of 16, and been through the last 3 World Cups. You saw the energy they had against Wales, 2 very, very late goals, like 95 and 98 minutes of added time. And yeah, really happy with the display from the team. Everyone was very, very solid. Tim Ream is, fantastic. Tim Ream, brilliant. So calm on the ball, the way that he can read the game. There was a moment during the game when Anthony Robinson, again, fantastic game from him, was just defending and sort of shepherding the ball out of play, and Tim Ream knew that he wouldn't have had time, and he just comes over, boots it into the stands, and that was it. Goes back to his position. He was fantastic today. Anthony Robinson, really good getting forward. Could work on that first touch a little bit, I think. It's sort of like his sprint trigger, sprint button on the controller was broken. Just the pace. He almost couldn't keep up with himself. Sergiño Dest, I was questioning a little bit him coming off, but bringing on a defender who's just a little more taller, a bit more taller, because you knew Iran were going to just start chucking balls and lobbing balls in, Hail Marys, just like any side would. United States, really good, a little bit of time wasting, as every team does. Every team does this. The other team complains if the shoe's on the other foot. It's just one of those things that you do, and I was happy to see United States sort of almost stoop to that level, because they're not really known for doing that. A lot of pride in this young team, and you do what you have to win. I thought Matt Turner, when he came up big, coming out for the crosses, I think he only made 2 saves really, and again, a little bit of luck when that ball came through at the end. But at the end of the day, United States are through, and deservedly so, in my opinion. So we are yet to figure out what's wrong with Christian Pulisic. Obviously scoring that goal, coming off injured at the half. Not really sure. Apparently some sort of abdominal injury, which, very, very rare, I think. You don't really hear about injuries like that. And then, of course, Josh Sargent looked like a hyperextension of the knee. Looked really bad when he landed. It sort of makes you cringe, and they played it about 5-6 times. Hopefully he's going to be okay. I would like to see him start if he's fit. But again, most likely, the scenario I would like to see, if Christian cannot come back into the side, you just start Aronson there. Just put Brendan Aronson there. He can do the exact same job, I think, as Pulisic. A little more direct when he's running at players. And the fact that Pulisic has just been guarded by all 3 teams we've played, whenever he's on the ball, there's 2 players rushing at him. And you may not get that with Brendan Aronson. Obviously, Pulisic is sort of the face of U.S. soccer in a lot of ways. Really, really the big breakout star. Obviously, at Borussia Dortmund now, at Chelsea in the Premier League. Won the Champions League with Chelsea a couple years ago. So, a player like Brendan Aronson may not get that attention. That could open up, Josh Sargent, that number 9, whoever it may be. And Brendan Aronson, again, one of my favorite players. He's so direct, so quick, confident. The way he moves the ball, the way he can... the way he sees runs, the way he runs off the ball himself. Very, very impressive player. Having a fantastic season at Leeds. Standout player at Leeds, I think. I try to watch all of their games, and it has to be that. And you can keep Tim Weah on this side. Maybe you go with somebody else. I don't want to see Haji Wright against the Netherlands, although, when you think about it, the players that they have, Van Dijk, Akanji, Nathan Ake, it's going to be really difficult to beat those players in the air. Van Dijk especially. So, do you go with something, someone who's maybe a little more clever in the build-up, like Jesus Ferreira? It's possible. No Gio Reyna again today. It's tricky. I don't really know what to think of it. There's a lot of stuff going around about that he was sick and something about the coach lying, Greg Berhalter lying. I couldn't read into it. Honestly, I couldn't care less. A lot of us want to see a little bit more Gio Reyna. He's not a guy I would like to see as a false 9, but maybe you play Weah in that number 9 position, not a false 9. Put Gio Reyna on the right, and you can still have Weah moving up. Have his back against those 2 big defenders and help that link up play. let Musa move come forward and Weston McKennie come forward and really open up that midfield again. Another midfield, just like England, that I got the highlights here, that are just very, very compact. And we saw what these players could do against England, and it's going to be a challenge. If you can upset the Netherlands, then I mean you're talking about the last 8 of the World Cup. And that's something the United States haven't done for a long, long time. 2014, just losing out to Belgium. The Tim Howard heroics, and it's going to be exciting. A very, very exciting game. These players have to be up for it, and I think they will be. But obviously, some weaknesses there in the United States. Can these two, whoever the center back pairing is going to be, is it going to be Zimmerman? I thought Carter Vickers did very well under pressure. Lots of gamesmanship from these Iranian players, and I'm just seeing Pulisic go off here. It looks just sick. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to tell who do you want that pairing to be, that center back pairing, because again, these two guys tonight I thought did a fantastic job, and the 2 games prior, with the exception, obviously it goes without saying, of the Zimmerman penalty giveaway. He's been solid. He really has been solid. He was brilliant against England. And Tim Ream, again, obviously the defender, of this team, standout defender so far. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. It should be exciting. My brother just moved to the Netherlands actually with his with his girlfriend, so I'm sure he'll get a front row seat to watch that game Saturday, and I will be at work. Thankfully for me, it's going to be a dead time at work, so I will be able to watch the game. And I'll be looking forward to making a video like this. Hopefully I'm as excited as I am now, but we'll just have to wait and see. So guys, thanks very much for watching. If you've made it this far, I do really appreciate it. You can let me know your thoughts, anything you got to say on the comments, or hit me up on Twitter, obviously always in the description below. Guys, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.